It's Saturday night and I'm bored at home. Looking for something to build. Got any ideas? Hit me up. Someone just DM'd me an idea about a game that pits Apple users against Android users. Dope. Let's write it. One of the biggest mistakes people make when they get a new idea is that they jump straight into coding. Which is kind of dumb because you want to make sure people actually want to use what you're building before you spend months building it. See, this is called product validation, and it should be the first thing that comes to mind whenever you get a new idea. We'll call our game Apples vs. Androids. Now we need to figure out what kind of a game we actually want to build. We want it to be simple, something that doesn't take a lot of time to explain. Something like tic-tac-toe. Since we want our games to be accessible both on Android and iOS, we're going to need both an iOS app as well as an Android app. Now normally this would actually be a pain in the ass since you'd have to write two native apps and simply duplicate the code. Lucky for us though, Unity exists and has great multi-platform support. This means you can just write one Unity app and simply export it to both iOS and Android. Dope, that takes care of our client side. Now let's talk about backend. For our game to work, we need a way for players to be able to communicate with each other and keep track of scores. Now Unity does come with its own multiplayer service, but apparently it's a connection-oriented peer-to-peer based system that doesn't allow asynchronous gameplay. Wild. That's an issue because we want these games to be asynchronous, meaning that you can do other things while you wait for your turn. We can fix this by just writing our own game server, of course. And by that, I mean our own REST API game server. It might be a little bit unintuitive at first, but since this is a turn-based game, we can actually use a REST API server since we can kind of expect about a request every second or so. When it comes to writing said API server, my go-to is usually Python with Flask as a web framework because it's easy to use and quick to set up. And for the database, I'll usually go with PostgreSQL because it's what I know. Finally, for our actual platform to deploy to, we'll go with Heroku because it's easier than Google App Engine and has less configuration than Amazon AWS. So in most cases, actually validating a product is pretty simple. All you need really is a landing page with a sign-up list. Mailchimp is a great choice for building a mailing list since it has a great API and is free for small projects. HTML5.net is my favorite place to go to find great modern mobile-first landing pages. You can actually just download these and edit them as you please, as long as you give credit where it's due. If you're not into downloading and editing templates, you can instead use something called Launch-a-Co, which is probably the most sleek and modern way you can build a landing page today. It's great as long as you're comfortable with paying the money needed to download the actual source code. All we need to do now is connect our landing page to our mailing list, and we're done. With the easy part, that is.